ওকে বন্ধুরা, আমরা এখন আসছি পেট্রাতে। এটা সপ্তম আশ্চর্য। সো আমরা এখন মাত্র শুরু করলাম। ওকে, আমার সাথে আছে খালিদ।
Hello.
মিস্টার খালিদ বিন ওয়ালিদ।
Khalid Hassanat, not bin Walid.
Khalid Hassanat. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because bin Walid is the
I know.
Sahaba here.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Petra, Petra wasn't the actual or the original name of the city. The actual name was actually Rakmo, and it's an Aramaic word, and it does mean the rock. And also, we have some narration that says that this name or this word was the name of the first Nabatean king ever to rule. The name or the word Petra that we call it now for the city, it came after the Greek and after them the Roman, who used to call this city as Arabia Petraea, which mean the Arabian rock in the Greek language. And this name became official after the year 106 AD, when this city became as a part of the Roman Empire. We don't know if this city has been fallen to the Roman after a peace or after war. The archaeologists are divided into two teams. Some of them are supporting the peace theory and the others are supporting the war theory. So we cannot confirm until this day because every team has his own evidences. So it's very difficult for us to decide. Hello, we are in Petra, me and Muhammad. So until we reach to the Iron Ages, at the Iron Ages we are talking about 1200 BCE to 500 BCE. In this period of time, the population of Jordan has been increased rapidly, and more numbers of people has been appeared. So Jordan started to be divided into three kingdoms, or kingdoms appeared in Jordan. The kingdom to the south is Edom. The one to the north is Ammon with their capital city Rabbat Ammon, which is nowadays the capital city of Jordan, Amman.
Amman, yeah.
The one in the middle is Moab with their capital city Liban or Dibon. The kingdom to the south, as we mentioned, was Edom with their capital city Sela in Bsera, nowadays in Tafila governorate. So these blocks are called Jinn blocks. These blocks, like 1, 2, and 3 of them, they are called Jinn. If you heard the word genie before, like Aladdin genie.
Aladdin Chirag.
The genie is the spirit or ghost in Arabic, and the singular. The plural of it is Jinn. The name came after the locals who thought that this place was haunted by this jinn or spirits, since it contains burial tombs inside of it, and also during winter time sometimes they could hear the sound of wind, so that made it more believable that it had some kind of spirits or ghosts or jinn.
So আগেকার লোকেরা বিশ্বাস করতো যে এখানে জিন আছে। সো জিন শব্দটা এখান থেকে আসছে। জিন আরবিতে মানে হচ্ছে যে সোল।
This tradition actually started at the southeastern side of the Arabian Peninsula, the country of Oman nowadays. They start to build this burial tombs in a cubic shapes as a construction made out of mud and rocks. But we need to answer, who's the Nabatean people? The Nabatean people, to answer this question, it took the scientists a lot of time to get an answer, and even they are not confirm about it until this day. They are saying now the Nabateans are different tribes made an alignment together to make one kingdom, the biggest tribe called Nabto, and usually the king come from Nabto. These tribes were located originally from south of Syria, from here in Jordan and south of Jordan, north of Saudi Arabia and Negev desert in the southern side of Palestine. So these people, they were nomads, travelers. They keep moving from place to place. And when I say nomad, that means that they didn't depend on any kind of agriculture or cultivation in their living. They depend on shepherding to take care of sheep, goats, camels, donkeys, horses, and different animals to help them to survive. And also they depend for their income on the commerce or trading. They were very skillful traders worldwide. They controlled the trading of perfumes like frankincense, myrrh, and amber, and also a lot of kinds of spices as well worldwide. So this inscription, it's a bilingual. On the top, written in Arabic Nabatean, and the ground it's in Aramaic language. It says that I am Abdul ibn Akis, the son of Akis. I built this tomb for me and my kids and their kids. So it was a family tomb for this person. And also he said in the first year of King Malik, this is how they did their times. The name of the king and for how many years he was ruling. King Malik, he was Malik II, and he ruled the Nabateans between the year 40 AD to the year 70 AD. So this monument over here has been built or carved precisely at the year 40 AD, 40 after the birth of Jesus. The top floor, which is this one, is a burial tomb. You can see the graves of Al-Malik and Aki's family. And the ground floor here is a triclinium, or what's called in Nabatean marzaha. Triclinium, it's a word, a Greek word that we use it to describe the Nabatean banqueting halls or meeting halls. These kind of halls were used in their burial and memorial ceremonies.
সো নেবাতিয়ানদের আসলে ওরা একসময় ইয়ে ছিল, বেদিন ছিল, এই কারণে নোম্যাড ছিল আসলে। তাদের মধ্যে ইজিপশিয়ান কালচার, মডার্ন কালচার, রোমান কালচার, গ্রিক কালচার, সিরিয়ান কালচার, এরকম অনেক কালচারের মিক্স দেখা যায়। এবং ফাইনালি ওরা এখানে সেটেল হয়, বিকজ আগে ওদের কোনো অনুমতি ছিল না সেটেল করার। বাট 200 years BC দে গেট দ্য অনুমতি, তারা অনুমতি পায় সেটেল করার, এবং তারা এখানে প্রথম সেটেল করে।
They built terraces to reduce the slopes of these mountains and to allow the soil to absorb much more of water and to reduce the slopes. Yes. And after that, they went to the feeders that feed the main river. And in every feeder, they usually built multiple dams, usually 7 to 8 dams. Just in case of failure of one dam, they will have plenty of others to stop the water. But despite these procedures, the water will come through this way and it will enter the city through this way, through the canyon over there.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So this canyon is the Seek that extends for 1200 meters. Has been formed by the earthquake that split the mountains, and after that there is the water that used to come here with the floods through thousands and thousands of years. But they made the Nabatean made over here a dam to block the entrance of this canyon or this city. Yes, and to divert the water direction. Instead of going to this side, it will go to that side to go around the city. So it was a very clever idea to build a dam just to change the direction, not to hold the water. Because if they want the dam to hold the water, they need a much larger scale of a dam. And also the chances of failure will be much higher since the higher pressure on it. Yes. So they made a dam just to change the direction, and later on they opened this trench. Sometimes they found some obstacles like this mountain that you see in front of us. This mountain in front of us. Yes. So they carved this mountain in the hard stones to make this tunnel as a path for the water to go around the city. Then the water will continue to Wadi al-Mudlim and later on to be stored in dams that they made to save the water.
So Tibetanরা এখান থেকে রক কেটে ওই ড্যাম তৈরি করছে। That's why you can see যে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে এই মাউন্টেন কাট করা। এটা হচ্ছে ঢোকার মুখে, the entrance, the entrance of the city. সো এখানে আরেকটা জিনিস বলি যে তিবেতিয়ানদের তিনটা স্কিল ছিল। একটা হচ্ছে যে তারা অনেক ক্যামেল ক্যারি করতো, আরেকটা হচ্ছে যে তাদের খুব নেভিগেশন পাওয়ার ছিল। 3 skills of the Tibetan.
Yes.
And Nabatean, আর তৃতীয়ত হচ্ছে যে তারা they are good, they had good skill in like hydrology.
Yes, agriculture, to find the water resources, reservoirs and dams, to build them actually, and to create rains harvesting systems all over the desert in many occasions on the way of the camel caravans. And also they hide this kind of reservoirs.
ওরা এগুলো সব গোপন রাখতো, ওরা কিছু চিহ্ন রাখতো, বাট এগুলো সবসময় তারা গোপনে রাখতো কোথায় পানি আছে পানি নেই।
And also they had the navigation skills and during day and night, and they have the thousands of camels that can help them to shift these items of goods all over the side. And there is another entrance to the north and another one to the south.
It's not gonna allow me.
Here you can see this entrance used to be covered with an arch. This arch used to be, yes, all over. This arch collapsed 95 years ago by an earthquake, happened in 1927. And here you can see these niches, 1, 2, 3. In these niches they used to hold they used to put their sculptures of gods. So they can pray for the protection of the city just by the gate of this city. So it was some kind of practical location for them.
Can I go?
Yes.
So this is the main entrance to the city, yeah?
Yes.
What is that? What is the Rose Mountain?
Rose Mountain, it's ahead of us. No, it's in these mountains actually. So these mountains are formed from 3 layers. The top layer, which is this white color, that is called DC Formation, and it's actually 400 million years old. 400 million years old.
This mountain?
Yes, the one there. The rose color mountain, it's actually the second layer, which is underneath this one, which is 50 million years older. So it's 450 million years old.
Wow! So this is 400 million years old.
Yes, and the other one, the rose one, is 450. The rose one is called 20 formation, and this formation has the rose color since it contains high amount of iron in
Another layer underneath
Another
this.
layer, ground layer, black basaltic rocks, volcanic rocks, and they are 550 million years old. You see it more inside the city. The top 2 layers, the sandstone, the white and the red one, whenever we see a sandstone, that means it's only can be formed under the ocean. All these mountains and all this desert was under the ocean. The ocean is called Tatus.
Tatus.
Yes, that ocean withdrew back 200 million years ago because of the Great Syrian African Rift. This rift that separates between Asia and Africa. That's, by the way, we are by the edge of it. And with this movement of plates, the tectonic movement, we got elevated up and up through millions of years, and now we are at between 1,000 meters above sea level to 1,600 meters above sea level. That's why the ocean, the Tatus, withdrew back 200 million years ago. The Nabatean chose this location to build their capital city for 3 reasons actually. The first reason is the natural protection that these mountains forms, especially from the eastern side and the western side, completely blocked by sharp edge mountains. From north and south there was small open areas, so they connect with them with walls, so it was easy to defend. The second reason is that they had these mountains actually the location of the city that is located in the middle of the old world, and it was just located in just beside the old King's Way, the old trading route.
Yeah, I saw that
is between the Red Sea and Dead Sea and also Anatolia. Also from here you can go west directly to Egypt or to Gaza district, where in Palestine, where they have also a seaport to send their goods to Rome and to Iskandariya in Egypt as well. That was the second reason, which is the location. The third reason, and the most important reason, which is water. That they had this mountain here that they can carve to do water reservoirs, dams and cisterns, and also to create very sophisticated rains harvesting systems or systems all over this city to collect every single drop of rains. Everything in here is sandstone, but these stones are limestones, and from the river they get it. So they made the quarries outside the city to cut these stones, and also some of it they brought it from river, that they shape these stones and pave it in all over the roads in here, because it's much more harder than this sandstone, so it can survive for longer time.
So এটা হচ্ছে যে একদম অরিজিনাল রাস্তা পাথর, সেটা নেবাটিয়ান আমলের, সে আগেকার যুগের। এগুলো হচ্ছে যে লাইমস্টোন পাথর, অনেক শক্ত এগুলো, কিন্তু এগুলো হচ্ছে স্যান্ডস্টোন।
these are two sculptures of Nabatean gods. One here is about bigger than the other one over there. So if you see here, you can notice that the Nabateans only use geometries to represent their gods, so they don't look like a human or something like that, because they had some leftovers of the Abrahamic belief or religion, related to the Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him. So they only use rectangles or squares. Even sometimes when they do the eyes, you can notice the eyes are made in square-shaped eyes. Here, the eyes. Yes. So these eyes, they just do it to keep reminding them that the gods are watching. At the bottom here, you can see some empty cavities. In these cavities, they used to burn the frankincense. So in their belief, it will dismiss the evil souls and demons from the surroundings. And these holes that you see up there, they used to hold the plaster that they used to write the name of the gods and the prayers and so on the facade. But we lost this plaster, that's why we cannot verify which gods of the Nabatean gods are these. Either Doshara or Manat, Al-Uzza, Al-Kutba, Al-Lat, we don't know exactly, but it could be one of them. So the Nabateans, they were polytheistic and they had different gods and different powers of gods. At the first place, they believed in Abraham, so they had only one god with the name of Allah, the same of the Islamic belief. But there was a person named Amr ibn Muhay who was a trader, and he saw that the people in Syria, when he went to visit there, that they were praying for sculptures that represent their gods. So he came up with the idea that he brought these sculptures and started to sell to the people as the sculptures of Allah. Then at the end he was selling like one sculpture per person, so there was no much of business enough for him. So he came up with the idea to bring more and more gods to increase his business. So he came up with the idea that Allah has brought three daughters, Manat, Al-Uzza and Al-Lat. Yes, and Al-Lat brought later her son Doshara, the supreme god of the Nabateans over here. So Doshara, he was the god of light, that they believe that he was born from a single virgin mother, which is Allah, that symbolizes the star of the morning. He can control flipping days and nights, storms, nature, mountains, in their belief. Even this mountain range that cover all the western side of Jordan for 370 kilometers are called Sharah mountain range upon the name of that god. Then we have Al-Uzza. Al-Uzza from Arabic Al-Aziza, which means the precious. They believe that this goddess is the goddess of love, fertility, prosperity and the welfare of the people and land. So they loved her a lot. Even they built a special temple to worship her in Petra that is called the Winged Lion's Temple. And the other one named Manat. Manat, she was the goddess of death, from Arabic Maniya. So she was the goddess of death, darkness and destiny. They worship her from the fear, they were afraid of her, not after love. And they have Al-Kutba, he was the god of writing and science, math and commerce, and also the god of negotiations. Yes. On sculpture, you can see the leader of the caravan over here with his Arabian dress and his arrow that's used in this side, his sandals. You can see also the first camel with the hump, the belly, the arms and legs, even the hops are very obvious in here. The second leader used to be over there, and this is the second camel as well, with all details. Unfortunately, it's pretty damaged. They were damaged in the middle of the 5th century AD when the iconoclast movement started, since the descendants of the Nabateans converted their religion from polytheism to Christianity. So among that period, they got the iconoclast movement, which goal to erase any idols that represent any living thing, as a human or animal. So that's why they came up to this part and erased them. So they changed to Christianity after the visit of the Christian priest Bar Soma to the city at the year. There's no harm. Mecca here or there. What is the most important is the intention to worship with God in His house,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and it
It's
doesn't.
not the place.
It's not changing anything anyway.
Yes. Now we are at the present of the treasury, the most famous monument in Petra, the main highlight of every visitor. It's not the biggest, but it's actually the most famous since it contains a huge amounts of architecture and features in it. So the treasury, the name might trick you and you might think that it's a place that has been used to hide the treasures or gold or a bank or something like that. But actually it wasn't. The name just came after the locals who thought that the Egyptian pharaoh used to hide his treasures in this monument. Even from that belief, they start to shoot at the top of the facade over there, at the urn that you can see in front of you, and also at this sculpture here. You can see some bullet traces in front. Yes, in order to try to break this facade and break this jar so the gold fall down and they can be rich, but it was a big disappointment in that day and nothing happened. So it was just a local belief, it wasn't a scientific theory. Now, since we don't have any evidence to tell us the exact story behind this building, we have a lot of assumptions by different archaeologists, but most of the archaeologists agreed that it was a burial tomb or a mausoleum for the King Aritas IV, or in Arabic Al-Harith Al-Rabi', and his both wives, Shaqila and Khaldu. He was married to 2 wives. That king who ruled the Nabateans between the year 9 BCE to the year 40 AD. So he ruled the Nabateans for 50 years. He was the most popular and prosperous Nabatean king ever to rule Petra.
What is the name again?
Al-Harith Al-Rabi'.
Okay.
So that king was very famous. Even his nickname was Al-Muhib li Sha'bih, which means the lover of his people. So it could be built during his time or during his era. So all this masterpiece has been made as a one piece, carved all over the mountain.
Oh, just from the mountain, yeah.
Yes. If you can see here, we can see a lot of sculptures, especially above the pediments, the half pediments to the top. You can see 2 eagles to the left and 2 eagles to the right. These eagles symbolizing the elevation to afterlife, or also the glory of the Nabatean king. Here at the upper court in front of you, you can see 9 sculptures. The sculpture in the middle, which is this one, is symbolizing Isis, the Egyptian goddess of birth and recreation. Isis is symbolized in here, carrying a glass of wine in her right hand and a cornucopia, the horn of plenty, in the left hand, a part of the Greek mythology as well. Here to the right, inside the chamber, you can see a sculpture of a goddess with wings, and also to the left as well, a sculpture of a goddess with wings. These are showing the Nike, a part of the Greek mythology. The Nike goddesses are the victory goddesses, and they are showing in here having wings made out of wheat shafts to show the plenty after the victorious times of the king Al-Harith Al-Rabi'.
Okay.
And to the left in here, and there is to inside this one to the right, I mean, and there is one inside, and also behind Isis to the left and right.
Okay,
behind
inside.
It's hidden,
Okay.
completely hidden.
Yeah.
And also to the left over there, and there is one beside of it, it's also hidden. There are 6 sculptures, and these sculptures are showing the Amazons.
Oh.
The Amazons is a part of the Greek mythology. They are a tribe of lady warriors that they live far away from men. All of them are giant, dancing, strong warriors. They are symbolized in here, carrying axes above their heads to show that they are prepared to defend the Nabatean king and his throne. And also now in the pediment in the middle here,
Yeah.
you can see the sculpture, a big face that is totally raised. That is the face of Medusa, the evil goddess that has the snakes above her head. And the Nabatean used her in many occasions to dismiss or to hunt the invaders or looters of their tombs. The Medusa is also a part of the Greek mythology. To the right of the pediment, to the right here, there is a sculpture of a lion. It's completely damaged, and also to the left as well, another lion. The lion symbolizes wisdom and encouragement and power. Sometimes the face of the lion indicates to Dushara, the supreme god of the Nabateans. They are pretty damaged. Underneath, you can see a knight with his horse over there. You can see the Taurus with the 6 packs. These guys, they were working out at the gym 24/7. And here also another knight with his horse. They do symbolize Castor and Pollux, 2 Greek gods. So the mythology of Castor and Pollux, that were twins but half brothers.
Okay.
Twins but half brothers. They had one mother named Lydia, and they came from 2 different fathers. Castor, he was the mortal son of Tyndareus, the king of Sparta. But Pollux, he was the divine son, the godly son of Zeus, that appeared in appearance of a swan to Leda, made a relationship with her, and they got Pollux. So one of them is a human and the other one is a god. And once they fought against each other, and Pollux, the divine son, won the fight, and he killed his brother. So he became very sad upon this incident. So he went to his father Zeus, asking him to share his immortality with his brother. Zeus went, accepted that. So Pollux transferred to the afterlife and shared his immortality with his brother, and brought him again to this life as a god, and both of them became as patrons of sailors. So the Nabatean put them in here because they transferred between afterlife and this life in their belief. So if the Nabatean king Al-Harith Al-Rabi pass away, he shall be returned back to this life, just like what happened to Castor. By the way, this facade wasn't the first one in here. There was an older one from the 1st century BCE, and it used to contain tombs for sure, and you can see it under the ground, the ground. Now, because our level in this part is 7 meters higher than the original level. So the Nabatean, when they decide to do the treasury, they cut the treasury they made the facade above the upper court, and they cut the old part in half, and they kept it. They made a staircase to go from the bottom part to the treasury here, which is the 2nd court or the 2nd floor.
So it was a burial tombs.
Even the monastery, it was a burial tomb. It was a mausoleum for the king Ubada al-Awwal, or Ubadas the first. So later, after they converted to Christianity, they made it as a monastery.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they just used the mausoleum as a monastery.
So that was like 400 AD, yeah?
Yeah, but that mausoleum above this mountain over there, there is the high place of sacrifice, where the Nabatean used to sacrifice their offerings to their gods. They like to choose the high places to like have
Go close to the
more accepted offerings, more close to the god in their belief. So
what did they offer? What did they used to offer?
Animals.
Not the human.
Mostly mammals. Yes.
Not human.
No, not human. Not at all.
You know, like in Mayan
Culture,
or Inca,
yes.
they used to sacrifice human.
Exactly, but no,
They sacrifice themselves.
Yes. Now we are heading to the main theater of this city. This theater, the Nabatean copied its design from the Greek and Roman, but they made it in their own way and with their own skills of carving. So now you get to see the only theater in the world that is completely carved out of the mountain, completely carved as a one piece from one stone. So this theater is one of its kind. It can take up to 6,000 spectators. By the way, this theater has been carved during the time of the king Al-Harith Al-Rabi' as well. When they decided to do the theater, this facade used to contain a lot of burial tombs from the 1st century BCE. But when they decided to do this theater at the beginning of the 1st century AD, they carved this theater above the older tombs, erasing all of them, except of some chambers that you see at the top over there. These chambers here, they are not VIP chambers, by the way. They are actually leftovers from the burial tombs that they were in here. The entrances, they were made actually carved in the mountain. You can see here used to be the stage.
This is okay.
Yeah, the stage area. Here, the Roman, when they controlled the city, they built a wall called the skyliner in general in every theater. This wall blocked the theater from this side all the way to this side. So the skyliner is, they usually do it as the same height of the last row up there. So it's very high up for the acoustics, for the sound systems. So when you talk normally on the stage, everyone in the seating, everyone, even in the one who sit in the last row, can hear you in a very clear. The Nabatean houses in this city are 3 types. The first type is a house that is completely carved as a natural cave or a man-made cave. The second type is, which is the majority of the houses, around more than 80% of the houses, which is a house that is completely built as a construction by mud and rocks. And unfortunately, most of these houses that you will see later to this side are all demolished and destroyed because of the many earthquakes that happened in here. The third type is a house that is completely or actually mixed design. The interior will be carved and the exterior will be built as a construction. So it's a combination of both designs. Here are the royal tombs. This one and the ones in the other side, like here.
Yeah, okay.
Huge size tombs. This one, the first one in here, is we call it the urn tomb. This tomb has been built as a mausoleum for the king Malik I that he ruled in the 1st century BCE. This tomb, by the way, has a vast room from the inside and it's already pointed towards east. So the descendants of the Nabateans, when they converted the religion to Christianity, they converted this tomb and used it as a church at the year 447 AD during Byzantine times.
Okay. So that is the other one, over there.
Yes, and the other one is the Corinthian tomb. We call it the Corinthian tomb because it has the Corinthian style of columns that came from Corinth in Greece, originally designed with the acanthus.
Corinthian is like Greece.
Yes, Corinthian. Designed with the acanthus plants, these capitals of columns usually.
Okay.
And the other one beside of it is the palace tomb. We call it the palace tomb because it's a huge in size and it has 4 chambers, 4 burial chambers.
This is the palace tomb.
Yes, and it has many of columns. The last one.
The last one.
Over there.
Yeah,
yes,
over there.
the palace tomb. Yes.
Okay.
So here is the residential area for the Nabatean. Used to be the beginning from this side all the way to the end, and the mountain behind this mountain. Also, we have this side with all this mountain, and the continue to the end, and there is another mountain behind of it. If you look carefully everywhere, you can see leftovers of walls. Here was the Nabatean residential place, here where the houses used to be. All over. These stones that you see are not existed in here by nature. They are existed in here by the man-made who shaped it, Nabateans, and they built the houses in here. Most of the houses were in 2 floors, even it was very distanced area. The houses just beside each other, sometimes touching each other. So unfortunately, because of the earthquake, especially the first one that happened at the year 363 AD, most of these houses has been destroyed, or all of them, we can say. They got another earthquake at the year 551, another one at the year 749. So plenty of earthquakes once in a while, because we are on the edge of the Great Syrian African Rift. So every 100 to 200 years, statistically, we will have one huge and destructive earthquake. The last one was in 1927. So that's why it's very difficult to keep the houses in this area.
This is almost time for one more.
Yes.
The next one, yeah.
The next one can be soon enough.
Okay. So here is the Pirates of Petra. What's his name? David?
David Robert. He's Scottish. He made paintings of Petra in 1839. They were the first paintings ever.
1859.
1839.
1839. Wow. Hello. Hey, doggy. What's up, man?
بخليه لبكي بجيبه حتى شو خلنا نخلص بس ابراهيم يروح رنوا علي ونحل الموضوع.
এখানে এই যে পাইরেটস অফ ক্যারিবিয়ানের মধ্যে দেখা যাচ্ছে বেশ কয়েকজন লোককে, কিন্তু আসল ঘটনা হচ্ছে পাইরেটস অফ ক্যারিবিয়ানের যে পাইরেট ছিল জ্যাক ফেরেরো, ও অ্যাকচুয়ালি পালায় আসছিল তিউনিসিয়া। সো তিউনিসিয়া এসে সে মুসলমান হয়ে যায় এবং তার নাম নেয় হচ্ছে সুলেমান, এবং সে ঠিক তিউনিসিয়ান যে বেদুইন ওদের আউটফিট ধারণ করে। ইউ ক্যান সি দিস ইজ অ্যাকচুয়ালি বেদুইন, লুকস লাইক পাইরেটস অফ ক্যারিবিয়ান। সো দ্যাট ইজ দ্য ইতিহাস। গুড টু নো। এরা হচ্ছে সব বেদুইন। এখানে যারা আসে ওরা সব আসে একটা শহর থেকে, নাম হচ্ছে ওয়াদি মুসা, এবং ওয়াদি মুসার সবাই হচ্ছে একটা ট্রাইবের, এবং ওরা সবাই হচ্ছে বেদুইন। What is the tribe name of the Wadi Musa?
Beni Layth.
Beni Layth.
Yes.
Yeah. So they were Bedouin before.
Yes.
Okay.
And here from Al Abdul tribe, this man from Amsihun village.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes you cannot differentiate between these people and that, but we can easily.
Do you mind to say hello?
No, no, it's okay.
Okay, go against the sun. Yeah. So Khalid,
Khalid.
he was with us.
Hello. I'm the one behind the
Yeah.
scene.
And
With
I
the
have
voice.
to tell, like, he is a very good photographer.
Thank you, thank you.
And
It's
I will
really
tell
my
if anyone
pleasure.
comes here, just contact him. I have the WhatsApp number.
Thank you, and wish to see all Bengali people and all people of the world here in Jordan. You are welcome to your second home always.
Thank you, man.
so much
Great.
for
Yeah, you
being
did
here
great
with
job.
us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, above this mountain here, you can see a village from the Iron Ages, from the kingdom of Edom. This kingdom that was in here before even the Nabateans. This kingdom, like the other kingdoms in Jordan, Moab and Ammon in the Iron Ages, they were vanquished after the Babylonian captivity that started at the year 587.
What is the kingdom you named?
Edom.
Edom.
Yes.
Okay, so
So
they're
on the
before
top.
Nabatean.
Yes, and that village dated to 1200 BCE. So 1,000 years before this city, before
Wow.
Nabatean city.
So this is even 1,000 years older than the
Older.
Nabatean city.
Exactly. And
Wow.
also above this mountain there is water reservoirs made by the Nabateans. Also there is a ruin of a Nabatean villa up this mountain as well. Also the way to the mountain is totally carved as a stairway that takes you all the way to the top. And above this mountain here, there is the monastery, one of the biggest, or actually the biggest monument, Nabatean monument ever in the city or even outside the city. Up this mountain, it was actually a mausoleum for the king
Which one?
Ubada al-Awwal. Up this one.
Okay.
This one, exactly. Here, in the middle of the screen.
Okay, middle of the screen.
So that is actually the monastery. It was a mausoleum for the king Ubada al-Awwal.
What is Kullu mean? Kullu?
Kullu mean all of it.
Oh, Kullu Haram.
Here used to be a nymphaeum, and here another nymphaeum. Nymphaeum is a Greek word to describe the public fountains. So it was a public fountain of water here and also there, built at the 2nd century AD, both of them. As entrance on the street ahead of us, that was the major market for the Nabatean.
Oh, this is the major market. Okay.
Yes, this used to be the main market for the Nabatean, and after the Nabatean, the Roman as well. The Roman, when they came, they added row of column to this side, to the south, and another row to the north. These columns used to carry pedimental roofs above the shops of this side and also to this side of the street. Only the street itself was exposed to the sunlight. So the Roman, when they came, also they added better paving. So this pavement here is not Nabatean, is Roman actually. You can see some estimation of the market, how it used to be here in this image.
Okay.
Yes.
This is how they used to be, huh?
Yes, exactly.
100 and 280. And now it looks like this. Okay, I see. No, still there are some shops left.
Yeah.
What are these steps?
These stairs used to lead to another Nabatean building at the top, but still not excavated, and apparently it's fully destroyed. So we don't know what it was used for or what it was exactly. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. This is the original road, huh?
Yes, original. You see up this small hill here in front of us, there was a Crusader fort from, the Crusader time, 1100 AD. So Salah ad-Din took it
Oh,
From them,
Salahuddin.
actually.
Okay, okay.
He took it from them actually.
From like Byzantine?
Byzantine, yes.
Byzantine, yeah.
So it was a crusader. So around the year 1187 AD, he took it from them.
100?
1187.
Okay, okay.
It's called Al-Habis Fort.
So yesterday I went to one castle, Shobat.
Shobak, yes.
That was also occupied.
Yes, by Salahuddin. Actually, Shobak, Salahuddin put it in a siege for 2 continuous years.
Yeah,
2
yeah.
years. The Winged Lion Temple. This temple has been built and dedicated to the Nabatean goddess Al-Uzza, the goddess of love and fertility and prosperity. We founded a sculpture of this goddess inside this temple. Written underneath it, a part of what you give to the goddess will be given to the monk responsible of this temple. And also, we founded the sculptures of lions that has wings inside. So that's why we call it the Winged Lion Temple. This temple, just like any other Nabatean building, has been destroyed in the year 363 AD by an earthquake. The excavations over there started in 1977. Until this day, it's not finished. They used huge rocks to build the columns here. If you can notice, the columns, they were huge, actually, in the front of the facade, or to carry the shades of the building. Each column is around 20 meters height. Each rock that they used in that column was 1.6 tons, weighted 1.6 tons.
Wow.
And that was 2,000 years ago. It has been built at the year 25 AD, 25 after Jesus. This is Qasr al-Bint Temple. Qasr al-Bint, it's mean the daughter palace. When we say daughter palace, it's actually not the same meaning of a temple. So actually the name came from the local urbanic myth or story that says there was a princess living in this palace, and this princess was the daughter of the Egyptian pharaoh, and she requested from the hero who want to marry her to drag the water to this palace. And that hero, to show his love and passion for this princess, he dragged the water from 3 sides: the north side, the eastern side, the north here, the east, and to the south, from 3 sides, which is the same springs and the same canals that used to bring the water to the city. And after she saw all this effort that he made to drag the water to this palace, and after he succeeded, she fell in love with him, and they got happily married ever and foreafter. But actually we cannot well, this story is just a myth, urbanic myth. It's not the actual story. The actual story that the archaeologists found that this was the major temple for the Nabateans, where they used to worship Dushara, the supreme god of this city, the god of light, the continuous light, that the light that never ends. So here this palace has been built at the beginning of the 1st century AD, so between 0 to 10 AD. It used to contain 2 floors, but the roofs has been collapsed. This building is the only still standing building from all the Nabatean constructions in the city, because the Nabatean, they took care of this building, and it was the most important building in here, since it was the major temple. So they built the walls with 2 layers, and they filled the vacancy between these layers with mud and rocks. And also they used horizontal stripes of juniper wood. This kind of wood, it's flexible and it doesn't rotten. So it gave this building some resistance against the earthquakes.
Which are the wood? This stripe?
like
okay.
Yeah, this stripe over up a little. Yeah, you see these lines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's juniper. So that's why this wood, it lasts forever, and also it's flexible. So they made a system in this palace, or actually a temple, against the earthquakes. That's why it's still standing.
This is still standing.
Yeah, despite all the earthquakes hit this area. Here you can see the entrance made as a wide stairs entrance. You can see leftovers of the marble rocks.
Oh, that's the original?
Yes, the white ones are the original marble that they didn't have marble in here, so they brought the marble from Egypt all the way to this part. And here you can see this offering table where they used to put the sculpture of their god in here, and they put the offerings all around as gifts for their god. There is an altar and an Nephilim just after this kind of offering table, but they usually like to sacrifice up the mountain, or prefer to sacrifice up there in the high place of sacrifice,
closeness to the
that
god,
we talked about before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Alles klar, okay. Schaut dir mal Spiel auf.
No, I'm good.
5 minutes. Do you want?
No.
No,
5 feet up, all the way down. 5. 5 feet up. 5 feet up. Come. Here, this boy, here. Here. Hola, chica. My brother, come here.
সো এখানে এই যে আমরা শুরু করতেছি যা পেট্রা, এটা বিগিনিং। এখান থেকে শহরের ভিতরে ঢুকে খুব সুন্দর ভিউ পাহাড়ের উপর থেকে। নিচে এই যে পেট্রা দেখা যাচ্ছে, এই যে এখান দিয়ে আসছি আমরা, এই যে পেট্রা শহর। পাহাড়ের উপর থেকে পেট্রা